Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the question of the week. Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic Monday. Today's question, this week's question comes from Ricardo Buijsman. I don't know. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that somewhat close. Ricardo, if I'm butchering your name, I apologize in advance. Now, Ricardo wrote in and says, I'm getting more and more interested in Korea and I just want to know a few things. Number one, hospitality. If they don't know you and are inviting you over to your house, meaning a Korean family is inviting you over to your house, what kind of etiquette should you follow? And in my experience, there are really two categories of this. Now, I have been to a number of homes where the people are really I would say westernized and follow more of a Western adaptation. So coming over to their house is pretty much like going over to one of my friend's house in the United States. It's just like hanging out, not a big deal. But I have been to a lot of traditional Korean homes here, and while common sense falls into place most of the time, a few things to consider. Number one, of course, take off your shoes as soon as you enter. Typically bring a gift. If they're inviting you for a meal, it's always customary to bring something, whether it be alcohol or some other token of gratification for the invitation. Food is fairly expensive here in Korea in terms of buying it at a market. So if someone takes the time to prepare a meal for you, really show some respect and gratitude in terms of providing something for them, whether it be dessert, alcohol, and some token. A lot of times, if there are elders there, respect them as well. Allow them to eat first, drink first. Just pretty much common sense. Be aware that most meals are served at the table, meaning that it's communal food. Everyone shares, so it's not necessarily each individual person will get their own meal and you pick from the center. I actually prefer it that way. It reminds me of growing up in Texas and having a big pot of casserole or something in the middle and just help makes me a little homesick. So a lot of that. Alcohol is usually served with meals, and if you do not drink alcohol, just kind of explain why. A lot of times, if their English isn't as good as for conversational purposes, a lot of times just saying that maybe you have an allergy to alcohol will bring the point across that it's not something you can drink. And rather than trying to get into philosophical reasons of why you don't want to drink alcohol. So that's that. Number two, culture information sites or links. I'm not sure what you're looking for in terms of this. The Visit Korea website has a lot of information on it. The Korea.net, the official website of the Korean government, has a section about Korean culture. The Korea blog has a lot of information on there. That's all operated by the Korean Office of Culture and Information Service. So that's kind of their mandate as to share with the world Korean history and culture. So I would check those out. And number three, more vloggers on YouTube. You found a few but want some more. That's one of the big problems here in Korea. Korea just doesn't do a good job of enticing people to stay long term. Usually when someone comes to Korea, they stay for maybe 1 or 2 years and then move on. And since YouTube and making videos isn't as, high profile as, say, text blogging is in Korea, a lot of people just don't stick with it or really put the time into growing a channel and making videos. It's far easier to get notoriety in the text blogging world than on the video making side of things. So there really just aren't that many people who stick with it long term. If you look at the people who I kind of came up with in Korea in 2008, 2009, 2010, there's really just a couple of us left. Most have either stopped making videos or have moved on. But there is one person that I would recommend. He's been here about a year. He has signed on for another year. He's Korean American. His name is Corey May. And if you like my videos, I think you'll like his videos as well. He's, a younger person, about 20 years younger than I am, and has life in Korea from that perspective, but includes a lot of historical information based on his personal experience. So I think you'll enjoy that. So yeah, those are answers to your questions. If you have a question for me, please send it to questions@sheranger.com. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. And until tomorrow, remember to be true to yourself and always be awesome.